r/askreddit by Reddify. Couples who have moved in together. What surprised you most about living with a male/female? How often I'd be helping her find her car keys. Eventually, I put up a hook that I was able to get her in the habit of using. Made me tear up a little at the time. But a couple weeks after we split, I remember getting a text from her that said, "I miss being able to find my keys." That's kinda cute in its way. 3. It was pretty heartbreaking at the time. I was having a hard time dealing with the breakup. I'm sure she was trying to just be cute and funny, but it honestly didn't help at the time. The hair. Man. It gets everywhere. Seriously. I found her hair wrapped around my balls and had to untangle it. I was almost convinced she was putting it there when I was sleeping to duck with me. I had long hair too, and yeah, it just does that. Also, when you pull one out from your butt cheeks, it's a weird feeling. Oh. And when it wraps around one of your toes when you've already got your shoes and socks on. Everything has a decorative pillow on it. They are too small to be used for anything. And I'm not allowed to throw them on the floor or pile them all on one chair. The bed has a bunch. And a long tube thing. I'm not allowed to whack her with the tube thing. Where did these come from? Why do we need them? If they are just in the way, can we put them in storage? No? Okay. Babe, whatever you want. Seriously. What are we supposed to do with the tube thing? Hit people with it and wave it around like it's a giant dingus? I've got 2 moves and both are big no-nos apparently. His ability to be doing nothing. He can lay on the couch and stare at the ceiling and do nothing and think nothing. And he enjoys it. I would pull a muscle or pop something from the strain if I tried to do that. Edit. Thanks for the awards. I read it so he can nothing in peace. Sitting in the passenger seat and just stare at the roads. Not saying anything. Why are you so quiet? Are you upset? What's wrong? Sorry, I was in the middle of a heated argument with myself. I was trying to determine if using slices of French toast still count as a grilled cheese or a melt. Edit. As a thanks for the gold, you all better post your French toast grilled cheese/melt. For me. How subtle the need for alone time crept up on me. I wasn't unhappy in the slightest, and moving in was natural. But over time I felt myself becoming irritable, and it turned out that I tend to get that way when I don't have time to myself. Because I went from being alone in my room after work in my parents' house, to being around so pretty much every minute I'm not at work or driving. So I found myself with someone almost 24/7. And it took a toll. Thankfully, once I recognized that, it was easier to manage. What do you do to manage it? I'm worried about this in future relationships without saying leave me alone. To be honest, once I figured it out, I just explained it to so. Thankfully he's very understanding. And to be honest, I don't even get much more time alone than before. But just acknowledging it and how it affects my mood helped a lot. Having my partner understand that and offer to give me some space if I felt that way ended up making it so that I didn't feel that way as often. I imagine in an apartment that isn't just a studio, it's much easier to manage since there would be other rooms to have to yourself. She's good at playing Tetris and very organized. I was living with my parents since I traveled for work and only made it home 1 or 2 weekends a month. She moved in with me at my parents' house. We had one room to store stuff, my bedroom. We bought things we'd need when we moved out, when we saw a deal too good to pass up, and she stored them. I realized she was good when we had to make 4 trips to get all our stuff out. 4 trips. This girl had boxes inside boxes inside boxes. She utilized every inch available in our room to stack items. We just bought a house and still have some boxes left to unpack. I will call her at work and say something like, "Hey, do you remember that blue paper clip I like to use? I can't find it." She will tell me which room, which box, what container, and what is beside it. Just in case I still can't find it. She should compete in a Tetris tournament. Boom. Tetris for Jeff. After living with him for 4 years, I opened a drawer of his dresser, and it was empty. All of it. Apparently he thought it was my extra dresser. He doesn't use a dresser. Clothes get washed and put into a clean clothes hamper. He put socks and underwear in his bedside table. Now I'm wondering what other furniture in our house is empty. I use a clean and dirty basket too. Would not discard the possibility of him knowing that it was his dresser and he just likes the basket system more. The underwear and socks thing is kinda weird though. Wait, so you don't fold your clean clothes? You just toss all of your shirts, pants, shorts, etc. into one hamper and grab what you need? I always knew women went through TP faster than men, but I never knew how much faster they did. It got to the point I'd just grab a pack of TP whenever I went to the store for any reason. We may not be out at home, but we will be soon, I reckoned. And I was never wrong about that. My mom and sister came to visit me a few weeks ago. They stayed for 3 days. 3 duckine days. Before they came I'd just cracked open a new pack of 4 rolls. It was gonna last me the month. They left me with nothing. 4 rolls lasts you a month. WTF is this hit? As a woman, that's insane to me. Edit. Okay. I normally don't add edits, but apparently I might use too much toilet paper. Or I'm unaware of how much I actually am using, lol. I feel like maybe we use a roll every 4-5 days. During my period, it's like half a roll a day though. During those 4 or 5 days, that plus period hits, man, you need a lot of TP. Sorry for TMI, but now y'all got me curious. Cause lots of other women are chiming in, and it seems I'm still in the minority, lol. I'm gonna start tracking how much we go through, cause I'm really starting to wonder if it's an egregious amount now. The constant putting away of kitchen counter appliances. Me, babe. Where's the toaster and the coffee maker? Babe, and the cabinet below. Me, why? Babe, because they don't need to be out on the counter. Edit. My first gold. Thank you, kind stranger. Or dishes you're still using. Where's my fork? In the dishwasher. I'm still eating. On the flip side, my husband can't seem to get his dishes all the way to the sink or dishwasher. He just sets them on the counter next to the sink. His excuse is, I'm going to use them later. Oh really? You are going to use your dirty spoon and bowl you ate cereal out of for breakfast again later? I've tested this theory and found it untrue. I put it in the dishwasher after 12 hours. Why do you guys lie to themselves about this stuff? Just put your dirty dishes away when done. The true shock for me was the sheer amount of time my husband spends in the laboratory. Prior to the invention of smartphones, many of us kept a small library of bathroom reading material for just this reason. Edit. My pre-2008 preferred reading list. The Far Side, Calvin and Hobbes, The Economist. Edit number 2. Based upon all the replies, I've come to the conclusion that somewhere in this world there is a chemical engineer who was inspired by reading the names of chemical compounds on the back of shampoo bottles while pooping. Edit number 3. It appears that much of the world's premier innovators in energy, the environment, biomedicine, electronics, food production, and materials are inspired poopers. Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. 2 editions of it are still in the bathroom I used when I lived with my parents. My wife has really long beautiful hair. I was not prepared to find that all in my butt and crotch regions as often as I do. I could never be prepared to have one stuck in my ass and have to pull it out like some mangy dog. I've never felt more violated or unclean than when I felt those hairs basically floss my lower GI tract. Somehow I swallowed a few, and passing them is a really disgusting feeling. She has told me that hasn't happened to her too, which makes it weirder. My ex-wife had really long hair, and I was constantly pulling 3-foot-long strands out of my mouth. The worst was a maddening itch in my eye that I kept rubbing and rubbing until I realized I was pulling a hair out of my eye socket. Inch after inch I pulled out, feeling it tugging from under my eyeball. How the duck did it get in there? It's no mystery. The hit is just everywhere. Got nightmare fuel right there. She works from home, but the television never leaves. Bravo. I leave for work. Bravo. Come home. Bravo. Go on the elliptical. Bravo. 24 ducking hours of these catty women, and sometimes men, yelling at each other. Bravo. Always being on is like the only thing we fight about, which is probably a good thing. But Jesus Christ. Always with the bravo. even when I entertain her and say what show is this? Oh, Southern Charm. I don't really watch that show. Well, guess what? I've seen 50 episodes of Southern Charm passively when I come home, and I know you've done 20x that. Goddamit, I hate Bravo. I'm getting a divorce. We're on HGTV now. Oh. Jonah Gaines is having Chip put up shiplap? What a ducking surprise. Shiplap is just the modern day equivalent of 70s wood paneling. Learning that there's a wrong way to fold towels apparently. My fiance doesn't get upset about folding towels, but she did inherit a towel problem from her grandma. Decorative towels. In the kitchen and in the bathroom there are pretty towels with quotes and stuff. I hate it. What a useful item to put on display. It is literally meant to be wiped with, and we aren't supposed to touch them. I have ruined so many of my wife's, she doesn't even buy them anymore. I'm a mechanic and don't even think about it half the time. So now we've limited our decorative ones for holidays. It's a good compromise. Men are incredibly warm and sweaty while asleep. And will be sticky if they hug you as you sleep together. Edit. Till that apparently in every relationship there's a furnace and an ice cube. No matter the gender. Obligatory award speech. Edit. I want to thank whoever gave me silver for indirectly saying my boyfriend is sticky. The reverse I've noticed is that girls seem to be quite cold. My last GF used to snuggle up to me every night saying I was like a giant hot water bottle and I'd be like brrrr because she was like a human icicle. Estrogen slightly thickens the blood, so reduces blood flow to extremities. Girls get colder during ovulation. Edit. Apparently it's right before ovulation. I was told that we would start arguing and being miserable. It ended up feeling like a super awesome constant sleepover. Don't let people scare you into not moving in with a significant other if that is what you both want. I remember moving into my first share house and there was a couple living there. One day we were all in the kitchen and she spilled some rice. I had never been in a relationship yet and my immediate reaction was oh here comes the anger. Yelling and heated arguing. Instead they laughed and cleaned up together. It was eye-opening to see that normal people don't explode into argument over little things. My first major relationship was abusive. When I realized I could make mistakes and not get yelled at or hit, it was like my world changed. My husband and I make mistakes all the time and we laugh and move on. I've never been happier. How specific I have to be when giving instructions to do something. Like instead of saying wash the sheets I have to say wash and dry the sheets and pillowcases and put new sheets on the bed. Edit. Thanks for the silver. And for all those saying he's dumb / a child I should leave him. I have 4 brothers and all but one would have done the exact same thing he did. I was hoping he would at least put the sheets in the dryer too. But whatever. Wet sheets aren't the end of the world. This is exactly what it is like being a programmer. The classic joke is a wife tells her husband, a programmer, go to the store and buy a loaf of bread. And if they have eggs, get a dozen. The husband drives to the store and comes back with 12 loaves of bread. What the hell is this? The wife asks. They had eggs. The programmer replied. How hard it is to get up in the morning when you have someone to snug. Edit. Holy wow, my first medal. Thanks stranger. Snugs for everyone. Wholesome. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.